Welcome to Octane Mobile Gaming. Welcome once again to the channel. I'm High Octane, your host, and today we take a look at the final deck for the season. It's a Fire Chaotic Killer, and we've got a Commander event. We're gonna jump right in with the Prodigal Exiles, and this is a really good ultimate form. It comes in the form of a supporting card. It will play a supporting role going forward. Great utility card because it's got the ability to fill the board with Power Gem 7s. We're gonna take a look at that first, which is the second of the two passive that it's got on board, which is called Crown Breaker. Now Crown Breaker creates 35 Power Gem 7s upon reaching 20 Crown Shards. Now Crown Shards is basically just a status, and this status, you gain this status whenever you successfully uses the battle skill of any fire card that is on your team. Now your team consists of 5 slots, so you can put water, you can put fire, you can mix and match your team, but as long as you got fires on board, only fire cards will actually activate the passive on this card to create Crown Shard. It doesn't matter if it's Fire Slayer or Fire Commander. Any fire card that is on board the team will actually enable this card to create one Crown Shard. each time you successfully uses their battle skill. And the reason why it says successfully, it's simply because there are times when you've got buffs or debuffs on the board that will basically neutralize the battle skill of your cards. For example, if you've got a card that does what I'm looking for, that does an attack boost, if you're hit with I think it's weaken, it doesn't it's not able to use its battle skill. Power Gem Silence as well, but the thing is, this week we haven't got any of those debuff. The debuff that we got is Chaos, which is really an annoying and nagging and just an awful debuff. We've got Blind, which is annoying as well. So those are two debuffs. I'm really happy that the ultimate form has got the ability to dispel both. They're both level 6 or debuff 6. So, you know, if you're going up against an ultimate boss that's got a level 10, this won't activate all the time. You got a 60% chance of dispelling both of those debuff. Well, I said it's a really good supporting card. It creates 1 extra firepower gem 6 after a fire hero uses its battle skill, so that gives you the ability to create an additional 5 power gem 6s. But the battle skill creates 8. It creates 8 firepower gem 7s and reduce the damage taken from enemies attack by 25%. It's got a 1 turn cooldown. That's what you need, because you want to create the crown shards as fast as possible to get that 35 power gems on the board to do a massive attack. You need cards on board that's not got a long cooldown. You don't need cards with 5 turn cooldown, 4 turn cooldown, even 3 turn cooldown. You need cards with 2 turn cooldown and 1 turn cooldown to get to that 20 crown shard to activate that passive, giving you those 35 power gem 7s on the board. So all in all, I think it's a really decent utility card going forward. We've seen some really decent utility cards this season. Hopefully the trend continues into next season, but we'll see what happens going forward. So that is your ultimate form. Keepers of Secrets is your master collection card, and it's got Strength in Unity, which is one of the passives on the ultimate form. This one creates 1 firepower gem 6 after a fire hero uses its battle skill. The battle skill on this one creates 8 firepower gem 6s, 1 turn cooldown again, which is what you really need to get your card to generate those crown shards. This card has got the ability to give you 13 firepower gems on the board, 13 firepower gem 6s, which is really nice. This one dispels blind as well. Now, Conspirator Prince is the one that is got Crown Breaker on board. So this card as well will generate Crown Shard. So every time a fire commander or a fire slayer that's on the team activate their battle skill, it will also create Crown Shard. The Crown Shard, I don't think it actually stacks, because it's a 1 Crown Shard is added anytime a fire hero successfully uses their battle skill. This ability cannot be silent, so it doesn't specify if the crown shards are only for this card, but I'm assuming the crown shard actually stacks. So if all 5 cards on board activate the battle skill at the same time, this will create 5. Your ultimate form will create 5, giving you a grand total of 10. So if you've got 1 turn cooldown cards on your deck and they're all 1 turn cooldown, within by the second activation of all your battle skill, you should have 20 crown shards. But we'll see how we get along when it comes to deck creation tomorrow. The battle skill on board creates 8 firepower gem 7s as well, and reduce damage taken from enemies attack by 25%. So this one will give you 43 power gems. The ultimate form will give you a bit more, because it can create extra power gems when fire cards on board activate their battle skill. It can create an extra 5, so it gives you a grand total of, I think it's 56 So 35, 40, 48 I think it is. Gives you a grand total of 48 power gems on board. The next one is your main hero. So your main hero is Forge Master. And Forge Master is quite nice, not very powerful, not usable for people higher up in the league or people who have been playing this game for years upon years like myself. It actually creates 3 fire power gem 4s. It's got a 1-turn cooldown, but it's got Iron Pack on board, which is the only passive that it's got, which creates 1 extra fire power gem 4s after a fire hero uses its battle skill. So this card is able to give you 8 fire power gem 4s on board, which I think is really nice. I think people who are starting out in the game, or people who are struggling with cards to produce fire power gem, maybe somebody who just started a few months ago or it's just starting out, this is really useful because it's a card that's gonna give you 8 fire power gem 4s. It's got a 1-turn cooldown as well. It can be a good damage dealer if you're down in the lower leagues. So it's a really nice card. It's a really usable card. Really like this this main hero, and I think it's a step in the right direction. Now, the support cards. A long time ago, support cards used to be my favorite cards. They're no longer my favorite cards. They're the bane of this game's existence because they don't really have a role to play within the game. But this one seems to me like a step in the right direction if the trend continues. What it does, it creates 2 fire power gem 1s and heal for 1000% of hero's recovery. 1-turn cooldown. Hasn't got any passive on board, but what I like about this card is that it actually creates power gems, not just your garden variety gems. So that is really nice. I have no criticism about this card, even though it doesn't create a lot of power gems, but it does create power gems and not just 12 gems. Power gems are always more useful than just your garden variety gems, so that's nice. It's a step in the right direction. However, we've seen cards from Generation 2 that which are supporting cards, which actually creates more fire power gem with its battle skill. So this one, it's still lacking in the department of being very usable, but I see it as a change and a step in the direction which I want to see supporting cards going. So that is your deck for this week. Is it going to be really powerful on its own? No, it's not going to be a really powerful deck, because I think we have gone away from the days when you just get the event deck and you're able to do ton loads of damage. I know that we are now in an era where you have to have lots of utility cards, you have to have a massive or a array of cards within your collection to actually create a deck that is really diverse and really versatile and really powerful. So it has become, in a way, the game that a lot of us wanted to see, the game where you just don't get somebody that spends ton loads of money on the event deck and just do massive damage and that's it. But it has gone in a direction where if you haven't got 4, 5 or 6 pink star ultimate form, you're not really gonna do massive damage anyway. But the game is still interesting. It's still nice to play if you're just actually playing for enjoyment. Let's look at some cards. Now these are some cards which can be useful. The first of which is the earliest of the 2 ultimate forms that will give you the killer skill, Immolating Fate. Immolating Fate is a useful card. It creates 18 fire power gem 5s over 3 turns. It dispels 1 buff from the enemy and cleanses 1 debuff from each fire commander on the team. It increases the damage of each fire commander on the team by 50% for 3 turns. So that's quite useful. First, the only passive that it's got on board say this card cannot be silenced, so it's unstoppable. This one dispels Thorn, which we haven't got this week. The second is the oldest of all the Fire Commander Chaotic Killer Ultimate form, and this one is Sunflare Mercenary, and its battle skill creates 4 Fire Power Gem 4s, while Jaunted, this is doubled. So we used to have things back in the days like Jaunted and Celebration and all of these things. There used to be status that enable cards within that deck to create more power gems or do something like give themselves a self boost or something like that, which back then it was okay, it was quite interesting. Now it's just out of date, it's outdated. The passive, the first of the 2 or first of the 3 that we've got on board, every 3 turns it creates 4 Fire Power Gem freeze, while Jaunted it is doubled. The second one, each time this hero attack, it creates 4 Fire Power Gem and 4 Fire Gems and 2 Fire Power Gem 4s. It's got the ability to give you an ultimate gem, which I think needs a bit of revamp. We're getting into the age of quadrillion. This ultimate gem is not going to enable you to even boost your cards to do 3 quadrillion. And I think it's really a shame, because when it first came out, the ultimate gems were really powerful. I think Network should take the power gem, the ultimate gem, back to the days when you used to create an ultimate gem and it used to be absolutely ultimate. Now it's like a candy, it doesn't really do nothing, or confetti. Pop, that's it. Flares and sparkles, but no bang. It needs to go back where it used to do massive bang. I think what they could do with the ultimate gems is actually revamp them and give them the ability to increase the damage or the attack of say Chaotic Killers. So if you create a fire ultimate gem on the board with a Chaotic Killer card, it increases the damage output of Chaotic Killer cards by 150 200%. That would be really nice. It would make these older cards really useful. Steel Force, I did manage to get Steel Force last season because I had the ultra rare before, and I got the Master Collection card from that collection where they were giving us free things, which is really nice. I didn't have Steel Force before because I didn't really deem it necessary to actually craft. So it unleashed a copy of this hero's strongest attack this battle, targeting one enemy. It heals for 4000% of hero recovery. It's got a 1-turn cooldown. This hero stores the largest attack it has made each battle, ready to be copied. So the largest attack this card deals, it stores it, and every time you activate its battle skill, it deals back that damage. If you can boost it high enough, you can actually do massive chip damage with this card. So this card is really nice to have. The passive tool we've got on board this one, whenever this hero attacks, it creates 5 Fire Power Gem 6s. The second passive, it creates 5 Fire Power Gem 6s if you start your turn with 5 or more Fire Power Gems on board. Nowadays that's not too difficult to do, to start a turn with 5 or more Fire Power Gems on the board, Fire Power Gem 6 or 7s. So that's not really too difficult to do. This one dispels armor, so that's something else that you could consider to use if you've got it in your collection. Exalted Champion is going to be a really useful card, especially when it comes to Fire Commander events, because what it does, it increases all damage dealt by Fire Commander by 100% for 3 turns. So that's really nice. That's giving you some damage boosts, and it creates 18 Fire Power Gem 5s over 3 turns. So it's also nice to use on the quest map. So that's something that if you've got it, you will need to use it. This is the last Fire Commander Ultimate form that we got 2 seasons ago, and this one is Brothers in Arms. Now this one creates 14 Fire Power Gem 7s and increase Fire Commander damage by 120% for 3 turns. It doesn't give you the 14 Fire Power Gems over 3 turns. It only gives you the damage over 3 turns. It's got a 3-turn cooldown. However, so that it shows your deck out of sync if you're going to use it on the deck for the ultimate bosses or the guild bosses. Passive, at the start of each turn, it converts all earth gems into fire gems. Next one, it becomes immune to enemy attack for every 5th turn. So every 5 turn you're immune to enemies damage. This one dispels blind, so this one, and it dispels kiss as well, just like the current ultimate form. So this one will be really useful to combine with the current ultimate form. And those are 5 cards that you could consider to use. Here are some more that you could consider to use. Nitro Champs. So if you got Nitro Champs came out 2 years ago. I think it was 2019. Yeah, around December 2019 when we had the New Dawn season. This one, alongside a few others, came out. You can't get them anyway. But Nitro Champs is one that you could use. Not that it's got the ability to actually create a lot of power gems, but because you used to, in the New Dawn season, every ultimate form that you got was at 6 big star. That's the reason I've got 6 big star ultimate form. And this one, it's an arcane killer, so you can use it in combination with its counterpart, which is Discard, Circuit Break Hilaria. And Circuit Break Hilaria will boost its damage, because Circuit Break Hilaria actually boosts the damage output of Arcane Killer. It's actually a card that doesn't need much introduction, but we'll get to that when we start talking about booster cards. You can use this one as well, Heretic Hunters. It is a beast killer, so we haven't got much cards that increase your beast killer attack, but it increases self damage by 275%, so it can be your main damage dealer. Now we've got Octane's New Guard. Octane's New Guard is a really nice one. I like Octane's New Guard. It increases commanders damage by 80% and massively increases the drop rate of fire gems. Now this one actually increases the damage when you die and you revive, so you can die and revive twice, and it increases the damage by extra 20% for 21 turns. Perceptive Guru is an immortal killer card, so this one you can use it in combination with with high performance unit area, and it does boost immortal killer's attack when it gets hit. So it's gonna boost itself, and it gets that boost from high performance unit area. And this is Culinary Kings, which is a Slayer card. Now Culinary Kings will upgrade your power gems to 2 rank higher, so it's a really useful card, whether it's Fire Commander or Fire Slayer. So it's something that you definitely will use it on board, because upgrading your power gems to 2 rank higher does give you a bigger bang for your buck. So it's something that you should consider to use. These are your booster cards. Now, as you can see, none of these booster cards are actually fire. You've got your Metaverse Master, really useful. You've got your Headstrong Siren for your Chaotic Killer. You've got your Supreme Santa for your Noble Killer. You've got your High Performance Unit Area for your Immortal Killer. And you've got your Jailers, which is an Arcane Killer for your Arcane Killers. Now we've got 2 booster cards for Arcane Killer. We've actually got the Jailers, and we've got Circuit Break Hilaria. Circuit Break Hilaria has got a 6-turn cooldown, and so does the Jailers. These are 6 of your booster cards. I think the more diverse or the more usable of all is Metaverse Master, because Metaverse Master has got many applications, simply because it gives 150% damage buff to the next card to activate its battle skill. So it can be used on fire, water, whichever, Slayer, Commander, doesn't matter. It doesn't work with every deck, but it works with so much decks. Headstrong Siren will only work with Chaotic Killer. However, you need to create water gems on the board to tap into its ability to give you that extra damage boost. Supreme Santa, 6-turn cooldown. Again, you need power gems, water power gems on the board to tap into its ability to give you 5,600% attack increase. High performance unit area. The only pitfall with high performance unit area is that you need another card on board that is going to create your dark gems to power up her battle skill, and this is where Metaverse Master comes in handy. Metaverse Master work in combination, they work together very well. High performance unit area and Metaverse Master were a match made in heaven. They work together to increase the damage output of a Immortal Killer card, so that will work really well with Perceptive Guru. Okay, the Jailers got a 6-turn cooldown. It is a Earth Commander card, and you need cards on the board that's gonna create Earth gems. It's not a card that is used so much nowadays, like say your high performance unit area or even your Supreme Center. High performance unit area is the most usable alongside Metaverse Master. Those are two most usable booster cards that we've got in the game at the moment. Circuit Break Illyria, 6-turn cooldown. It will work very well because it's a fire event. So all the cards on the board will be creating fire power gems. So this one will be quite usable in the event which we are going into. Now I've got 2 water cards here, Surging Seas and Black Flag Maroonders, simply because these 2 cards are the cards that you want to use to help out Supreme Santa. These 2 cards are very useful. However, I don't think much people will go from the Noble Killer point. What do you say? Go from the a Noble Killer perspective. I think most people would probably lean to say the Immortal Killer direction, or some people would go for the Chaotic Killer direction. I would primarily try. I wouldn't go for. You could use these 2 water cards with Headstrong Siren. It will work out okay, but I don't think it will be really powerful. I think the powerfulest combination that you probably could find, unless I'm looking at it wrong, is Metaverse Master with high performance unit area using Perceptive Guru or Steel Force. I think if you say use Steel Force then as your main damage dealer and boost its damage output with high performance unit area and Metaverse Master, and create enough power gems on the board with say the current ultimate form and the ultra rare, could be a nice combination. I mean, Conspirator Prince and Prodigal Executioner Exiles both will create 35 power gems with their passive. Those will crush, they'll upgrade. Then I think the boost that you'll get from Metaverse Master and high performance unit area is enough for Steel Force to deal some really decent damage. However, you could try upgrading those with Culinary Kings, but that's 6 card. So you've got 2 booster cards, and you've got your main damage dealer, that's 3, and you got your 2 power gem producers, that's 5. So there you've got your 5 cards on board. But you could try it where you only use the ultimate form and then upgrade the gems using Culinary Kings, and see if it's a bit more powerful than using the ultra rare and the ultimate form. I'm not really sure what's gonna work at the moment, but I think that's the direction that I'm actually leaning towards. You could use this relic as well to convert the dark power gems created by Metaverse Master into fire power gems. This is Amy's Sword of Excellence, and it's a really usable sword. It's really nice using it. I use it. I've been using it almost all of this season. I've probably been using it, and I've used it last season and the season before. So since I've got it, it hasn't been laying in my collection idle. It has been used quite a lot. So those are some of the booster cards, some of the useful cards, the ultimate forms that you can use. Tomorrow I'll definitely do a possible deck combination, and we'll try out an array of cards, especially when you're doing commander events. You need 2 decks, or probably 4 decks. You need 1 deck that you're gonna use for the quest map, you need another deck that you're gonna use for your guild bosses, and you need a deck for your ultimate bosses, because the ultimates are quite different from all the other bosses because they run every debuff that you've got in the game or buffs. So you need something that's gonna get rid of those buff. Traitor is one of the buff. Traitor is not too bad. So this week's debuff, we've got Blind, Chaos, and Traitor. You need to display Blind and Chaos. Traitor is, however, is not too bad, especially if you're using Alti and Nugard, that if you die twice actually gives you increased damage. Hopefully the video has given you food for thought, and it has given you some ideas. Hopefully it's been helpful for you guys out there. So this is Octane saying, if you haven't subscribed before, please do subscribe. For those of you who are subscribed, all my regular viewers, thank you so much. It's been really encouraging, and it's been really helpful, the comments that you leave on the videos. So until next time when we do possibility combination, leave a like on the video, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.